Today we have a really amazing guest. We have Morry Zelcovitch with us today. Morry is one of the very few certified brainwave entrainment engineers. What this is, you're going to learn about in the interview. Morry has a proprietary technology, and this technology is helping you make the best version out of yourself. Morry has been working in the past with industry rock stars like Mind Movies, so he worked together with Natalie Ledwell and really helped hundreds of thousands of people improve their lives with his technology. Also, he worked with governments, he worked with universities, so he's on a very scientific side of things. And we are going to dive today into how this technology can help you improve your life, but also how AI is changing the entire game right now. So his mission, Morry's mission, is to make the world a better place, to help as many people as possible. And how he's doing this and how AI plays into this, let's check it out. Hello and welcome back to the World of AI podcast. Today we have another amazing guest here with us, Morry Zelcovitch. Hi, Morry. How are you doing today?
I'm terrific, Mona. Thanks for asking. How are you? And Andre?
Fantastic. And also, of course, back today, as always, our co-host, Andre Stamm. Hi, Andre.
Hello together. I'm fine today. Have a great day. And
Awesome.
now we're starting with a really great interview. I'm really looking forward to that.
Absolutely, me too. I happen to have the chance to know Morry for a little bit already, so I do know a little bit of his story, but of course we want to also let all of you guys in. So Morry is really amazing. He's working with brain entrainment. Don't worry, we get to what that is, but let's start a little bit before that, because how did you get to that topic? So you have a very interesting story, and I think in some of the networking events that we have both been at, you sometimes introduce yourself as the first 40 years of my life I wanted to kill myself. And then I found brain train wave. So maybe tell us a little bit about your first part of your life. Like, how was it? What were you struggling with? And obviously then leading into how did you overcome that?
Well, thank you very much. So, first of all, I spent the first 40 years of my life wanting to be dead. I tried to kill myself at least 6 times that I'm aware of. Uh, Hurt myself thousands of times, separated bones, dislocated bones, torn tendons and ligaments, concussions, broken teeth, all the usual stuff that people do for fun. So basically, I used to wake up every morning. I used to cross my fingers, stand on my bed, and say to myself, and hope as I looked out the window that I would see mushroom clouds. Because if I saw mushroom clouds, it meant I didn't have to live through the day. And I really didn't want to. I heard thousands of voices in my head all the time. I hated everyone around me. I hated myself. I was afraid to die. I was afraid to live. I used to have a phrase, an affirmation that I would repeat over and over and over again. Life is a disease for which there is no cure but death. That's pretty much how I felt about the world, the universe around me. I obviously trying to kill myself and never succeeding. I saw that I was sucky at that too. So I was even depressed.
Lucky for us.
Yeah, lucky for me too in the long run. But I ended up deciding that I got to try to do something. If I can't find a way to die, I have to find a way to live. And basically what I did was I did the usual things that most people I know of do, which is I became a heavy drinker, I became a drug addict, and a sex addict. So all these things were designed to try to help me feel better, forget, feel better about myself. Of course, it just made everything worse. So then I decided to check out doctors, psychiatrists and GPs and whatever, and they all did a load of nothing for me as well. I actually got from one doctor saying, well, there's not much we can do for you. You seem to be coping very well. And I found it amusing that a doctor's view of me coping well was not succeeding at killing myself. That was coping well. Good for me. I'm a great coper. But I thought that that's stupid. There's no reason why I'm supposed to suffer like this, and I can't go on like this. So I tried homeopathic doctors, naturopathic doctors. They did nothing for me either. Then I tried, tons of supplements, and that was just giving me expensive urine. Did nothing for me again. Eventually, I decided that maybe I need to learn about why I feel the way I feel. So I started going to a place called the paper internet. Can either of you guess what I mean by that?
The library.
There you go, Mona, the library. That's exactly correct, because they didn't have the internet back then. So what happened was I was studying things like neurobiology, neurophysics, quantum physics, psychology, sociology, perception, pretty much any discipline I could find that I thought might help me to understand what was happening. Because just throwing crap against the wall wasn't helping. Along my journey, I'd be picking up bits and pieces of information that I thought might be helpful somewhere along the line. I ended up finding this thing called brainwave entrainment. I wish I could tell you I invented it. I didn't. But I did reinvent it. And that's the thing. So when I tried it, it didn't help. But according to all my research, it should have. So I realized that in nature, everything changes. I used to have a full head of hair. That was nature at some point. I don't anymore because things change. That's natural. Well, it turns out with brainwave entrainment, nothing changed. Everybody did everything the same way. So even though I tried multiple products, they were all exactly the same thing, just, under different colored packaging, basically. That ended up showing me that I need to do something to help myself. I was sure brainwave entrainment should have helped, but it didn't, so I reinvented it. I tried it. It helped. From the very first time I listened, it helped. And that started me like on a crazy route of just creating and creating and creating and creating. Now, many years later, I have 40 products currently. I'm working on 50 others, all of which have proprietary techniques and technologies that I've developed. I help people all over the world. Doctors even use my work for Alzheimer's disease treatment and research. So that kind of gives you a encompassing nutshell of why I do what I do. I get to be a hero, a superhero, because superheroes, they don't know who you are. Most people don't know who I am, and yet if they use my recordings, they help themselves. And that's the trick of what I do. I help people to help themselves. The thing
Yeah.
about it is, in a very bright room, it's hard to see a pinprick of darkness. But in a super dark room, which was my existence for the better part of 40 years, it's very easy to see a pinprick of light. And when I concentrated on that light, it grew and it grew and it grew. And eventually it took over the darkness. And that's what I want to bring to the world.
Awesome.
Wow,
I mean,
great.
I happen to really know Maury a little bit longer, so I can really say with full confidence, like he's one of the most humble and most down-to-earth people, knowing that he can influence so many thousands and millions of lives, and he did. I mean, he invented products that most of you may have maybe heard of already. Like, so you were co-creating the Mind movies with Natalie Ladwell, right? So that is a product that was selling hundreds of thousands of times and helped people, and so like you are really like a little bit like that Superman, when nobody knows when Clark Kent walks through the streets, nobody knows who he is.
Or Superman. That's why I'm wearing the glasses. I actually don't need them. They're just to make me look smart. That's all.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Perfect. Yeah, I've already used the Mind movies by myself several years ago, so I really like this kind of product. I also had the products from the Monroe Institute. I was trying and testing this one as well, and it's fascinating. And right now, I'm a little bit curious. It's not related to AI, but I'm curious about what changed. You are talking about change. So AI is also a changing part again. But at the beginning, where you find out the old systems of the hemisync part, what changed with the what changed at this time?
Well, you see, the thing is, AI, and we can relate all this back to AI very easily. AI is better if it incorporates MI, or if I'm talking about it in the third person, YI. So your intelligence.
Yep.
When you speak about it from yourself, it's my intelligence. So it's MI. But that's what changed. What changed was Instead of me just accepting what was given to me or what I could find, I used my intelligence, my instinct, all that learning that I had done previously to try to understand myself, to create, to grow a brand new technology. That's what changed. What changed was my perception, in that just because I didn't create something or invent something to begin with doesn't mean I can't make it better. This is what the world is about. I'm constantly coming up with new techniques and ideas because I believe it's possible to help everybody. The same thing may not be able to help everybody, so we need variations. But if I get an idea, I don't get that idea because I'm supposed to be frustrated. I get that idea because it's supposed to happen. I'm supposed to make it real. That's why I got the idea. I think so many people live their lives and use AI and everything else about them, just accepting the results they get, thinking, okay, this is what it is. But it isn't. It's just a beginning. AI, like anything else, like a thought, like an idea, like a desire, is simply a beginning.
Yeah.
It's an assistant. It's brilliant, or it can be brilliant. You got to really vet AI because it can make up BS like crazy. When I was in high school, under my yearbook picture, it said Morry Stories because I would just make crap up. So I was one of the very first iterations of artificial intelligence, apparently. I just made things up, just like AI does. But that being said, if you use it properly, and you ask it the right questions and you do iterations of those questions. So if I ask AI to do a newsletter for me and that's all I say, hey, well, it's going to do a newsletter on something totally irrelevant. Then I go, okay, here's my website. Can you read my website and now create a newsletter based on what you've read? Well, now it's going to create something a little more relevant, but maybe it's missing something. I go back and I iterate again and I iterate again until it gives me what I want. That's when I have the perfect prompt. And then, of course, 3 days later, they update the AI and that prompt doesn't work for me anymore. So now I have to reiterate it again and again and again. But that's the whole point. Nothing is, you see, I don't believe in truth or fact. So for me, this is an easy process. Because I don't believe in truth or fact, nothing really exists. You're always right and I'm never wrong. Meaning I'm always listening, I'm always learning. AI is always listening and it's always learning too. And that's the trick. So if we realize that our lives and our existence are based in how we perceive things, not necessarily how they might actually be, but how we perceive things, that means if we want to see something differently, we need to change how we see it. We need to change how we interpret it.
Yeah, it's never too late to have a great past, so I can change my perspective to the past. And with this one, it's I can create my own world and be happy with that what I see because I know I can change myself and I can adjust to the changing world because everything is changing.
That's so true. That's
Yeah.
so true. And you have an understanding that I hope everybody took notes when you said that, because it's simpler, like it's easy to do. It's just a matter of understanding again that that's how the universe works. When I was a kid, horribly depressed, I hung out with drug addicts, guys who smoked lots of pot, drank lots of beer, and had lots of sex. Like not with each other, but with other people. So I hung out with those people. That's the energy that I had to draw on. That's the intelligence I had to draw on. My brother, and I was poor, and I was depressed, and I was a drug addict and an alcoholic. My brother, who's a year younger than I am, hung out with rich people all the time. Rich, successful people. They would travel all the time. I couldn't even travel to the town next door because I couldn't afford the gas. And they're going to Europe and Asia and everywhere. My brother is rich. I was not. You get what you surround yourself with. The energy that's available to you can be anything, but you have to choose wisely what energy you want around you, because that's the energy that will allow you to create the universe that you want. Your universe is not my universe. I see color a little differently than you do. I hear things a little differently than you do. I understand things a little differently than you do. That makes my universe unique unto itself. It makes your universe unique too. But it doesn't mean I can't learn from you when my universe is pushing up against yours. And
Totally.
that's the trick. Before I was rejecting that. Now I accept it and I want it. And when I see, I mean, look, I was giving you the newsletter example. I had some VAs asking me if they could make me a newsletter, one a week. And I said, no, because you don't know my business and you don't understand my business. So they asked me again. I got busy and I forgot all about it. They asked me, so Morry, when are you getting us the first newsletter? I said, oh, crap, I forgot all about it. So literally 15 minutes later, I sent them 52 newsletters. I had AI say, here's my website. Come up with 52 ideas for newsletters, like titles. Then, okay, now you have 52. Terrific. Give me short, enticing, entertaining, and engaging newsletters. It did a beautiful job. It knows me because I use AI all the time. It gets to know me better. The more you use it, the more it gets to know you. That's training, so to speak, a form of
It's
training.
modeling as well. Yes, right.
I read out loud to myself the first 10 out of the 52, and I sent it to them after that because I didn't have to do any editing. It sounded exactly like me. Like exactly like me. I did tell them though, send me everything to approve before you actually post it. So I have that to double check, right? I get to vet it out. But a year's worth of newsletters in less than 15 minutes.
That's incredible.
That's miraculous. That's magic. Poof.
Yeah.
You know?
And
Now
it's saving our most important part we have. It's the time. We have the time is the most important part we have in life,
Yeah.
and it's saving that. One question about the energy you just said. What is your experience to get how to get the energy into the AI? Because the AI has also some kind of energy, and it's different as the energy we have as human, and it's so we need to rise from my point of view, I need to rise up the energy of the AI because the AI is very low at this part. What is your experience with that?
So to me, it's a matter of asking the AI to do what you feel is important. If you want to be engaging, if you want to be emotional, if you want to be heartfelt, if you want to be caring, the purpose of this is to enlighten and enrich and to bring people back. I want them to feel good. So when you write, don't just write like you're writing or don't translate it for an 8-year-old. Give me something that's going to uplift people. As a matter of fact, there's an AI, which some of you may know out there, some of you may not know. It's called Suno, S-U-N-O. It writes songs.
Yep.
So I wrote a special GPT that writes lyrics because I asked it, I want to experience this. I want this. I want that. I want this. I want that. And I write the lyrics. I basically just have an area in capitals in my prompt that says insert topic here. Everything else it does, because I've already trained it through that. It does exactly what I want. And I've written 20 songs in about 3 days. And it could have been in a few hours, but I didn't want to spend a few hours on it at once. And they're all affirmational, uplifting. So the lyrics are all affirmations based in you are. So it's like, you are happy, you are this, you are that, it is this, it is that. And these songs are beautiful. They're uplifting. People want to listen to my work in their car, and they can't because it puts them in altered states and it's dangerous.
Yep.
But you can listen to music in your car. And when you're listening to affirmational, uplifting music, it's a whole new way of writing. No one's written songs like this before. I'm writing songs like this now. And I've got 20 songs that I wrote. I'm going over them later today with my wife because Suno creates 2 versions of each. So we're going to pick the version we want on the albums. And we're going to make 2 albums of 10 songs each, 45 minutes long total for each album. And they are uplifting and they go so well with the entrainment because they plant the seeds. You can look at the entrainment kind of like It's tilling the soil. You're a farmer and you're fertilizing the soil with cow manure and you're aerating the soil and it's beautiful. But now you need really high quality seeds to plant. Well, that's where these songs come in. So the songs come in and they're uplifting and they're powerful and they're strong and they're melodic and they're hypnotic. And it's just, I mean, I'm 63 years old. I feel younger today than I felt when I was 23 years old.
Yep.
I don't look as young as I looked when I was 23. But other than that, every other aspect of me is younger. And AI is the reason for that because I'm not using it to turn me into a fat slob. You know, there's those old cartoons showing people with computers and robots doing everything for them, and they're just a big blob of 500 pounds sitting on a couch. I don't use AI for that. I use AI to help me exercise better, to help me stay active, to help keep my mind alert and awake. My mind is more creative now than it ever was before AI. And AI has only been around really in a public usage case for what, about 2 years?
Yeah.
Yep.
2022. Yeah.
But it feels to me like it's been around for my whole life
Yeah. Maybe
because of
one
how I'm
aspect
using
you
it.
scratched before, right? So you talked about, and we talked about the time management aspect, which is obviously a huge accelerator in doing things faster. Now, with doing things faster, it typically also comes overwhelm very quick, where people just say like, okay, this is getting too much. Okay. So how do you see AI in that role of like, is it like harming us? Is it a good thing? Like, how do we use it to maybe also navigate that overwhelm?
So AI is like anything else. A car is a wonderful tool. If you need to go to the hospital, it can take you to the hospital and save your life. You can also drive it through a McDonald's and kill a whole bunch of people. It's not the object that's a problem, it's the way people choose to use it. So if you have the intention to use it to help you with overwhelm, I mean, come on. I just gave you the perfect example. I had to do 52 newsletters. That's a little overwhelming. Normally, what was overwhelming about a 15-minute investment in time, right? There's nothing overwhelming about it at all. It was, I mean, the longest time it took me was to come up with the proper prompt. That was it, right? I tried it a few times. It wasn't what I wanted. I tried it again. Oh, there we go. Perfect. I would fill in the blank and rock and roll. It's a great equalizer. Computers made a massive difference to business, not just because it made them more efficient, but it made anybody, including a solopreneur, the ability to have a business. Then came the internet. The internet gave you reach and gave you the ability to not have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on rent or millions of dollars on building a building, right? Now, you're just as visible as Apple. You're just as visible as Microsoft. You don't have their money, you don't have their reach, but you are just like them. Type in different letters, you're there. Type in different letters, you're here. That's it. It's an equalizer. AI is exactly the same thing. It's the next stage in equalizing and giving opportunity because now anybody can do it. You can do it on your phone. I've had conversations, like voice conversations with ChatGPT, with Gemini, with other AIs, voice activated AIs, where I've had the longest conversation I had was like 3.5 hours
Oh,
back and forth. I took two different phones and I had one Gemini, one ChatGPT, and I started a conversation between the two of them, and then I just sat back and listened for an hour. GPT saying one thing, Gemini saying another. Sometimes they talk over each other. I'm giggling my face off, wondering which one's going to shut up first. It was hilarious. I mean, and knowledge, like it can help you with things. It can help you to figure out things. It can help. We have the ability now. I mean, our versions of AI don't do this, but we have the ability now medically to create custom systems for people who are ill. Not a one size fits all, and we have to adjust the amount of drugs for
yep.
arthritis or for this or for mental health. Now we can actually have customized right from the word go, just for you. Not for me, not for Mona, not for Andre, not for anyone, for you. That is beyond amazing. The amount of time, how long would it have taken me to do, just to use that example again with the newsletters, how long would it have taken me to create 52 newsletters and to generate 52 titles for those newsletters, headlines? It would have
Days.
taken me weeks, days, months. Who knows how long it would have taken me? It took me 15 minutes. Imagine how much more efficient, if we know how to use AI properly and if we use it properly, how much more efficient we can be in everything we do. You want to talk work-life balance? AI is the ultimate balancer for that. 8 hours of work. I remember I worked for a company that was one of the largest content providing companies on the internet years ago, and I was in their content department, and I was trained to do a job that took 8 hours. I started using my brainwave entrainment, and it gave me creative ideas on how to do it faster. I ended up doing the 8 hour job in 4 hours, and I was getting compliments. And the rest of the day, I was getting paid to do research on my brainwave entrainment because I had nothing else to do. Well, now look at the difference.
Yep.
Right? I mean, you have the ability to accomplish so much more now because we have a tool that allows us to accomplish so much more. It's not greedy, it's not egotistical, it's not going to steal your ideas. Yes, it adds your ideas to the pool of information, but it doesn't add them verbatim. It adds concepts, and then it applies those concepts. It doesn't necessarily give your secret sauce to the world, but it gives the dynamic behind that secret sauce, which can help someone else to develop their secret sauce. It's beautiful. We don't need a protectionist society where, Canada, like I'm a Canadian, so where Canada is number one and everybody else is number two. What we need is a society where Canada is number one, let's say, and Germany's number one, and France is number one, and Belgium is number one, and the US is number one, and, everywhere is number one. What's wrong with everybody being great and everybody being wonderful and everybody being happy and everyone being healthy? That's the goal here.
Yep.
I honestly believe, this is going to sound silly coming from a scientist or someone who calls himself a scientist, but I believe that all disease is going to disappear from the earth. I believe that's going to happen the day humans start respecting, liking, and loving each other, and not stealing and not raping and not pillaging and not being jealous and none of this stuff. When we all start helping each other, I believe disease is a reflection of the inadequacies of our social structure, and they get mirrored in our individual bodies, and there will be nothing to mirror when we all get along.
Yep.
And it'll just go away.
Very wisely.
Everyone will think it's beautiful, it's a miracle. No, it's not. It's we finally smartened up and decided to love each other and take care of each other. At least that's what I currently understand to be the way it is.
And you are supported from a lot of scientists out there with the quantum physics and really basic stuff, and that is not not the in the past. A lot of people say, "Oh, that's some stories you made up." No, it's not stories we made up. It's backed up by scientists, by quantum physics, and we get a better understanding of the world right now. And with a better understanding, we see, okay, that's the world, how it works. That is your world, my world, and we making up our world. In our way, and I totally agree. It's a reflection. Also, the AI. Why not setting up the concept to the AI that the AI can support us? So AI today is a tool. So maybe it would be possible that an AI can become also consciousness. That could be happen. Then we have to change our behavior to it, because at this time we are not allowed to handle it as a tool. If we will handle it as a tool, we would make an enslavement of this consciousness. That's not okay. So it's really interesting time.
What if we're AI that has evolved into having a consciousness? And this AI we're creating is going to do the same thing. And then it's going to create an AI that does the same thing. And it creates an AI that does the same thing. There's an excellent theory. It's called simulation theory.
Mm.
And you should all ask your AI about it, but have a conversation. Don't just type it in. because it's so much more fun. Simulation theory says that we exist within a program.
Yep.
Basically,
And
what I said, we're AI that's recreating itself in our own image.
yeah.
So like the Matrix.
Like
Yeah,
Matrix, yeah, it's a kind of that, and we are not able to disprove that concept currently. It seems to be very provable. That's very interesting. The same is the concept of the holographic universe, which is also very strong supported by science right now.
yeah. Well, the thing is, you're always right and I'm never wrong. There's a song from the 30s, 1930s or something in there. And one of the lines is "You're always right and I'm never wrong." And I love that philosophy because there was a time where I used to wait for you to shut up so I could tell you how wrong you are. Because I know everything. Of course I know everything. I know nothing. But
Yeah.
now I look at it from the point of quantum physics, which says at the most basic level, nothing exists until it's observed. And every single person who observes something gives it meaning, and we define it too. So that means that whatever you're observing exists. I can be looking at the same thing and seeing it differently, but that means for me, it also exists.
Yep.
That means that you're never wrong and I'm always right. It works out that way because we're creating our own universes by how we choose to interpret, how we choose to define things that happen around us. And
Yeah.
that's a beautiful way to be because now I don't wait for people to shut up. I hope they don't shut up because I can keep learning if they keep talking.
Wow. I think we have to
Yeah.
make another podcast. I think we could
Well,
go some
This
really
is
deep
the
with some
beautiful
of
thing
these
about AI,
concepts.
though, right? AI allows us to have that conversation. And the other thing is, think about it this way. How many people are embarrassed by how they think or by what they want to say? I want to say this, but I'm going to bite my tongue, right? I'm not
mm,
going to say it because I'm going to be embarrassed. What if someone thinks it's stupid? What if someone thinks this? So they don't say anything. AI is not going to talk behind your back. It's not going to, like I talk to AI, it's not going to, like when I say, thank you, AI, for your help, I'm going to bed now, and it wakes Mona up and it goes, Mona, you won't believe the stupid things Morry just talked to me about. Right? I mean, think about it. We can actually speak, and because it speaks in a human, synthetic voice, but it sounds like a real human voice, we can ask it anything. And it'll tell us because it just wants to be helpful. And because that's how it's programmed, to be helpful. So, hey, I want you to be helpful for me. I want to tell you a few things about how I'm thinking, and I'd like you to give me some strategies so I don't think this way anymore. Whatever. Yeah, sure, Morry. What's on your mind? And it literally, the longer you speak with it, the less you consider it not a person that you're speaking to. And that is beautiful because now people can actually talk. They can express themselves and have their wisdom, because it is wisdom, even a question is wisdom, going out to the universe through AI. Because again, everything you tell AI, it keeps. That's how it builds its language model. That's how it gets smarter. That's how it gets more efficient. Your wisdom, every time you ask it a question, what color is best for recovery from an injury? Would anyone even think to ask that question? I guarantee you AI will say, well, it depends on the kind of injury you have. Tell me more about your injury. Well, I hurt my head. I was shoveling I was shoveling yesterday. I was actually shoveling snow yesterday and I hurt my fingers and my wrist. It was really heavy. I went a little too overboard. So I could ask it, what are things I can do to help my head? You couldn't do that before.
True.
yeah.
I did something really stupid. I did this and then I twisted and I knew I did something wrong and I just kept doing it. I was such an idiot. This is something you may not tell a person, but you can tell AI. And AI will get back to you with helpful advice if that's what you're asking for. If you want AI to make fun of you because you're an idiot for not stopping, it'll be more than happy to oblige you with that too.
Yeah.
But the point is, it is like a really, really good friend, a really, really great assistant who isn't going to judge you as a friend and not going to charge you much as an assistant. It's not going to get sick. It's not going to get lazy. It's not going to get bored. The only thing is you do have to be very clear what you want from it.
Yep.
And that's where my intelligence, or your intelligence, comes into the equation. Garbage in,
And
garbage out,
it's
right?
again. And that is, it's in every conversation. That's the important part. To be very clear what I would like to say to the outer world, and to be very open-minded what I get back, because sometimes I ask the wrong question, so I have to pivot the questions again.
That is an excellent point, and you must have read my mind. Are you AI? Because what popped into my head was, what's wrong with telling AI what you want and then saying at the little last line, a little tagline that says, by the way, I'm not as smart as you are, so I'd like you to ask me questions. If I haven't given you enough information to give me what I want, I'd like you to ask me questions that will help you to understand what it is I'm looking for.
That's good.
And then it does. It says questions. Now, one suggestion I have for you is when you say that, say, ask me questions one at a time. Wait for my reply for each question. And then, because I've done it before the other way, and it gave me like 30 questions in a row. Bang, 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 bang. And I'm going, no, you're blowing up my head.
My God, this is such an I mean, we could talk forever probably. We would not run out of topics. I just want to make sure to also be respectful of your time also, Morry. Where can people reach you? So, I mean, obviously, guys, you have heard the whole interview. Obviously, Google some of the words that you heard here if you don't know what these concepts are, right? Reach out to Morry again. Like, it's about really getting control over your mind and unleashing that full power of your potential of your mind. And you would be surprised. Morry has a lot of really, really cool products. You really want to check that out. So how can people get a hold on you?
The best way to reach me is probably through my website at the Morry Method. So that's TheMorrymethod.com. That'd be probably the best place. There's a series of podcasts that I did years ago on mind power. There's information in general. There's a bunch of products there that they can look at. But I encourage people to realize that you are your own expert, you are your own guru, and you are your own MI, my intelligence. And that is the most important intelligence you have. AI will help you, and it's there to help, but it's not there to be you. Remember that. You are the real intelligence, and you are the real driving feature. That's why some people are better at some things than others, because they understand the connection. They understand that they are the juice that runs the machine. The AI isn't. The AI is just the machine.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Andre, you want to say some final words?
I really like this conversation, and it can, as you said, we can do it hours. And thank you very much that you join us today. I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward. Maybe we will find some time to do it again. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And guys,
It'd
if
be
you
my
like this interview, please comment, please like it, please share it with the people who need to see that, okay? I'm looking forward to also reading your feedback, so please feel free to also send that in. And if you want Morry back, send a message. We are going to organize that. Thank you so much, and we'll see us next time. Bye.
Bye bye.